Welcome to page 2 of an income and expense declaration for a self-employed sole proprietor. We need to make sure that we fill out the information at the top of each page so that if our pages get mixed up, lost, disconnected from the rest of the document, the court, family, Department of Child Support Services, the other party can put the pages in the correct file. So in this fictitious case, Lassen County is the petitioner. They open the case. Sam Smith is the respondent. Jessica Keeney is the other party. Again, this is a fictitious case despite the fact that there are some real names in here. Case number is FL19 dash, and then there will be several other numbers. You need to fill out the correct information for your case. Now we go down to section 5. In this case, it wants us to attach copies of the pay stubs for the last 2 months and proof of any other income. Take a copy of your latest federal tax return to the court hearing. Black out your social security number on the pay stub and the tax return. In this case, we have a profit and loss because Sam Smith is a self-employed sole proprietorship. So the wages and salary are going to be inapplicable here, not applicable. Overtime, not applicable, not applicable. Commissions and bonuses, not applicable, not applicable. Sometimes people have multiple sources of income. So sometimes I'll see someone who's a self-employed sole proprietor, but they might have a job where they do actually receive income as an employee. And in that case, you would fill out this section just like we did in the video for a person who's just a normal employee. And if you also have self-employment income, you'd fill out section 7. Well, in the case of Sam, he doesn't have any other income. He's just plain self-employed, not receiving public assistance. Again, though, you're going to answer this section and all of these inquiries as is accurate for you. Spousal support, none. If Sam receives spousal support from this or a different marriage, he would fill that out here. Wants to know, is it federally taxable? The law changed about whether or not spousal support was taxable income. So you're going to want to know, is your spousal support that you receive taxable or not? Okay, next one is partner support from this domestic partnership or another. Not applicable in this situation. Pension or retirement fund payments. This isn't what you're paying into your pension or retirement. This is what you are receiving. So if you're receiving pension or retirement, you'd want to fill that out. Social Security retirement, not SSI. So if you're receiving any Social Security retirement, you'd fill that out, but in this situation, it doesn't apply. Disability, Social Security disability, not SSI. State disability, not SDI. Private insurance. So this would be disability that a person receives because they're disabled and unable to work, and it's not need-based. In Sam's case, he doesn't get any of that, so that's all not applicable. Unemployment compensation, Sam is employed. He doesn't get unemployment, so that's not applicable. But if it's applicable to your case, fill it out. Workers' compensation, not applicable in this case, but if it's applicable in yours, fill that out. And there are 2 columns here. So there's what you received for the last month, and then there's the average monthly. So you want to make sure that you fill that out properly. And if it's less than a 12-month average, I like to make a note here that it's not the 12-month average. Now we have other income, military allowance, royalty payments. This is not applicable in this situation. But what I see here is various military allowances, maybe some royalties if I'm dealing with an author or a narrator or a songwriter. Usually when I see something in this category, it's military personnel. and then it wants you to specify what that other income is. It's not applicable in this case, but make sure you do it in yours. Next category is investment income. So this would be for if you are receiving income from your investments. They want you to attach a schedule showing the gross receipts less cash expenses for each piece of property. So I usually don't see a whole lot in this situation, but sometimes I do. Let's say in Sam's situation, he gets about $2 a month in dividends and interest. It's just a typical bank account that he's got some money in. Rental property income. Sam has a rental property and it rents for $400 a month. Now, in this situation, I don't have a schedule showing gross receipts. A lot of times my clients don't, and I may help them create a schedule in Excel and attach it. Sometimes, though, that's just not doable. And a lot of times when I see information in these situations as the Department of Child Support Services attorney for my counties, I don't see information attached. The court may want the information, or the court may swear in the party and take oral testimony about this income. Trust income. This would be a situation such as you're getting money from a family trust or from a trust that you've set up. In this situation, it's not applicable. And then if you have any other investment income, you're going to list it here. Not applicable in this situation. Now the fun part. So this is the important section for a self-employed person. We're going to have to figure out the income for Sam from self-employment after business expenses for all businesses. Well, Sam just has one law practice and he's not particularly busy. And he is an owner, sole proprietor. But you'd want to, if you're not an owner, sole proprietor, you'd fill out, are you a business partner? Are you other? You could be an S Corp. You could be any number of things, but you need to fill this out accurately. Okay, so Sam has been in business for roughly 10 years. This asks number of years in business. Name of business, we're going to say it's Law Office of Sam Smith. And it wants to know type of business. This is a law practice. Other things that I frequently see in this section are contractors. So building contractors, HVAC contractors, plumbers, appliance repairmen who have their own appliance repair shop. I've seen some artists that had information in this section, but contractors and attorneys are the ones that I see the most in this situation. But it doesn't mean that you can't run another business and have information that goes in this situation. So this wants us to attach a profit and loss statement for the last 2 years or a Schedule C from the last federal tax return. Black out your social security number. If you have more than one business, provide the information above. So in Sam's case, he has a profit and loss. And I don't know why. There we go. But it's only from January through October of 2019. If Sam were my client, I would tell him, go get me more complete information. But a lot of times as the Department of Child Support Services attorney, I'm stuck with incomplete information. I just have what I have. And in this situation, Sam hasn't filed taxes since 2007, so it really doesn't surprise me that all I have is a January through October from 2019 profit and loss. We're going to do the best we can with the information we have. So Sam is going to have a little bit different take on what his income is than I am as a Department of Child Support Services attorney. In Sam's mind, his ordinary income is going to, for this time period, which is 10 months, is going to be $46,096.90. So we know that this is for 10 months. Pull out my handy dandy calculator. And we're going to punch in his total after business expenses. So Sam makes $4,609.69 a month. We don't know what exactly he made last month from this information. Ideally, I would want to see a profit and loss statement for every single month, but I rarely get to see that. And actually, NA isn't accurate. We have unknown. And then we're going to write what the 12-month average is. Well, in this case, what the 10-month average is. I'm going to make a note here that this is a 10-month average. Actually, I'm going to make the note here. If you cross something out because you don't have whiteout, then you want to initial it. So Sam Smith is going to initial it. You can use whiteout. I didn't grab my whiteout stick. I'll grab it for page 3. We're going to go down to section 8, additional income. I received one-time money such as lottery winnings, inheritance, etc. in the last 12 months. Specify source and amount. So sometimes people have received some one-time money. The most common thing I see here is inheritance. In Sam's case, he has nothing. Change of income. My financial situation has changed significantly over the last 12 months because if your situation has changed significantly, you're going to want to specify this. So in Sam's case, he used to have a much busier law practice, but he got divorced, he was sick, he was spending more time with his kids because when he was married, he was a workaholic and worked 60 to 80 hours a week, but now he's just working 40 hours a week. So Sam is going to note here that he only works about 80 hours. I'm sorry, about 40 hours per week now. Since the divorce. So he can spend more time with his kids. I see this a lot in divorces where I'll have a party that worked a lot when they were married, and when they are divorced, they work less. And this is often cause for alarm for the other parent. And in a situation like this, if I were talking to opposing party, if I were talking to Jessica Keeney, Sam's ex-wife, she might tell me, Sam used to bring in $10,000 a month. He's underemployed right now. And, depending on what type of law Sam practices and where he's working, this might actually be a pretty typical attorney salary, or this might be dramatically less than what Sam could be earning. So it's up to the parties to make their arguments to the court. What I want to look at when I'm filling this out for somebody is this accurate? What information do I need to give the court so that the court has an accurate picture of the situation? And it's very, very common in my world to see a workaholic work only 40 hours a week after a divorce because now they're sharing equal parenting time with the other parent and they want to be there for the kids. They don't want to send the kid to daycare for 4 hours after 5 o'clock so that they can get in the 80 hours a week that they used to work. The key is be honest, be trustworthy, don't play games, and we need to fill out the accurate information on this form. If you have any questions about how your situation is going to impact your case, you need to speak to an attorney who can evaluate your case specifically. So now we're going to go to section 10. Sam doesn't have union dues. He's not unionized. He's self-employed. He does not have any required retirement payments. He might have an IRA. That'll go on the next page. Medical, hospital, other dental insurance premiums. For this, I'm going to look at his profit and loss. He doesn't show any insurance expenses on his profit and loss. That doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have those insurance expenses. I'm going to say that Sam spends $300 a month on insurance for himself. And I'm going to want to be prepared to explain this to the court and to the Department of Child Support Services. So I would have Sam give me supporting documents showing that he pays $300 a month in insurance. Child support that I pay for children from other relationships, Sam has none. If you do, you want to be sure to fill this out. And again, attach supporting information. What I look for and the case managers look for at the Department of Child Support Services is, was this child support court ordered? So as a child support attorney, I want to see a copy of the court order. And are you actually paying it? In which case, I want to see proof that you're actually paying it. If this were my client, I would tell Sam to give me proof of the last 12 months of child support payments. These could be checks that he wrote to the other party. This could be the screen that you can access online from the Department of Child Support Services. It could be receipts from the other party. But in this case, Sam doesn't have any children from another relationship and he's not paying child support. Spousal support that I pay by court order for a different marriage, and is it federally tax deductible? In this situation, Sam doesn't have that, but you need to fill this out as accurate for your situation. Partner support that I pay by court order for different domestic partnership. In this case, there's nothing. Necessary job-related expenses not reimbursed by my employer. Well, this isn't applicable in Sam's case because all of his necessary job expenses should be listed on his profit and loss statement. So it's not applicable. So now we go down to section 11, assets, cash and checking accounts, savings, credit union, money market, any other deposit accounts. Well, if Sam is getting $2 a month, and I think I said that it was from a bank account in interest payments, then he probably has a fairly decent amount of money in his bank accounts. We're going to say, and the math might not work here, but we're just going to say that Sam has $100,000 in savings. His business slowed down, remember. He used to do pretty well. And you need to answer this as accurate for your situation. It's not uncommon for me to speak to someone who has $3,000 in their account right now, but that's just because they just got paid and they're going to go pay all their bills and they're going to be left with $100. So what I'll see people do here is I'll see people write in and out. I'll see people write nominal. I'll see people write $100 normally. I see people handle this section in different ways. You just need to make sure that you're answering this to the best of your knowledge. And it kind of looks to me like this section of the screen is out of focus. So I'm going to try to focus it. That looks a little bit better. Stocks, bonds, other assets you could easily sell. So this isn't asking how much money is in your 401k or your IRA, This would be a situation like you have a money market account, or you have some Apple stock that's not wrapped up in an IRA that you could sell. In Sam's situation, he doesn't have any of this. Where I would frequently see information in this section is when I would have clients who worked for a tech company, and part of their payment was monthly stock options, and they could, I don't fully understand how those work, but they could exercise the stock options, and then they actually owned a certain amount of stock in the company, and they could sell it every so often. So that's when I would usually see information in this section. In my line of work, I didn't have to deal with this section very much. So you'll know if you have stocks, bonds, or other assets you could easily sell. Again, not your IRA, not your 401k, not your 403b. Now they want to know all other property. Real property, this would be, a house. This would be bare land. Then they want to know personal property. So this would be your car, your clothing, your furniture, and they want you to estimate the fair market value minus any debt you owe. So if you have a house that's worth $300,000 and you owe $100,000, then you have real property valued at $100,000 after the debt. For personal property, this is usually garage sale value here, and it's usually pretty nominal, a couple $1,000s, $5,000 at most if people have a pretty big house and a lot of stuff. Oh, except this also includes cars. So I do have a number of friends in car hobbies. They might and so they've got, old cars, and they usually own them outright. I would expect to see a decent size number here for people who own a lot of cars that are paid off. Let's say that Sam has a Model T that's worth 10 grand, and then he's got about $2,000 worth of personal property, clothes, furniture, whatever. So he's got 12 grand after debts. His daily driver is paid off, and he doesn't own a house. And you might even want to put a note down here what this personal property is. So in this case, we'll say it's a Model T and miscellaneous, household and clothing. And I just said that his daily driver is paid off. So that's actually going to change this amount. Let's say that his daily driver is a 2011 Toyota Tacoma. And let's say that it is worth 8 grand. So then this is actually going to be $20,000. And that's getting pretty messy right there. I would want to find my whiteout, and I would want to make it really clear that this is $20,000. You don't have to list what these items are, but it might be helpful. That way the court and the other party aren't thinking, oh, you've got $20,000 at your disposal that you could use to support the children. No, Sam's just got a cool car that's paid off. His daily driver's paid off, and he's got some household furniture, appliances, and some clothes. Again, you don't have to list right there what these things are, but it might be helpful. That's the end of page 2. Stay tuned for page 3.